Okay, so now we're going to be getting into creating macros without the macro recorder. And what I'm talking about here is actually having to go in there and type in the VBA or Visual Basic programming code onto a special screen that will then, as a result, allow you to create a macro. Now you might be saying to yourself, VBA code, right, VBA coding language. So VBA is used in macros. When you recorded your macros or when you record your macros, they're converted into VBA and that's how they're run. It would be a lie if I told you that I'm going to teach you all about VBA code and how or learn and teach you how to, code, how to write this language. I'm not about to do that. I am not a programmer. But I've assembled many, many packets of code for macros that perform various feats. And I'm going to show you in the next number of videos how to take that code, get it into the special area where we need to put it within Excel for you to be able to then run those macros and perform, the different feats. As we cover all these different macro code packets, I'm going to kind of explain to you what you're looking at in a very general way, and this will give you an idea of how, if you are interested in doing VBA coding, probably I think the best way of learning how to learn it is to look at existing VBA coding, see what it does, and then get some ideas, and then in the future, when you are ready to maybe create your own macros, you'll know a lot from what you saw in other code packets to be able to come up with this stuff. Now that's kind of a far-flung thing, but overall, it's the only thing you can do at this point. Now, how do we go about doing all this? Well, here's what we're going to do. In this example that I have up on the screen here, we have a worksheet that eventually we're going to do some printing setup, commands. And eventually what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up seeing the actual page breaks right on the screen. And it's just kind of a distracting kind of feature. It doesn't always look the greatest. It kind of looks like you got kind of a messy looking worksheet. And the problem is that any time that you go and let's say print your worksheet or go to do a print preview even, you'll end up seeing these page breaks. And like I said, we just don't want to see them. How can we hide the page breaks while still keeping the page breaks in there, but hide the look of them on the actual screen here? Well, there's no real command built into Excel that will erase this. Okay, so let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. If I go in here first of all, and I'm going to go over here to the View tab. I'm going to set up my, I'm going to go into the Page Break Preview view here. And these are where the page breaks are right now. And what I really want to do here is kind of pull this one to there. And I want to take this one over here and put that there. All right. Now this one should have gone over. Okay, well, something happened with the file. I don't know what it was. I turned off the video, I paused it, and I opened the file, and now it seems to be working okay. So sorry about that. So basically what I do is I come in here, I might adjust that page break to being there. I might take this page break out altogether by just dragging it. Okay, so I do that. And then if I go back to my normal view, so this technically is like doing a page preview. So print preview. So I go back to view here, or back to normal, and you can actually see the page break there. And you can also see the page break over here on the side there. And, it's not a real big deal, but it's something that, if you're really meaning to kind of display this on the screen for somebody and they see that kind of stuff in there, it just doesn't look that good. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a macro that will actually hide the page breaks, okay? And like I said before, that command does not even exist in the program. And as I said in the very beginning of this whole series, one of the things we can do with macros is actually add additional features and commands that normally aren't with that don't come with the program originally. Now, just so you know, the code that we're going to be doing is down here. This is the third tab down here. This is actually the code right here. This is the VBA code, Visual Basic Code, that we're going to be putting into a special area of Excel that will, in essence, then do what we had wanted to do. In that case, is to hide those page breaks, right? So that's what that's going to be. But again, this command is not in Excel right now. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to go back. Well, I'm going to show you where we have to go to put the code first of all. So over here in the developer tab that we had brought up in earlier videos, you have something here called Visual Basic. Okay, and when you click onto this, it opens up a new screen here. And the screen is going to have a lot of stuff on it. It's going to be looking a little confusing, but this is it right here. That's what we had before. All right, so here's the screen. And you're going to notice, let's just kind of focus on one thing here. Over in this panel on the side there, we have an area here called Personal XLSB. Now this was created automatically when we recorded our first macro. And within it, you'll see that we have right now 3 different modules here. Now, let me just do this real quick. I'm going to close this up. All right. So the first module here, if I double click that, it opens up that window. And as you can see, here are some of the macros that we did, all right, that we had recorded, all right. If I double click onto the second module, another set of macros as well, and we also have the third one, all right, as well. So got all 3 of them. Now, you need to have this particular area here in order to be able to put your macros into, because what we're going to end up doing is that code that I showed you a little bit earlier, we're going to be putting into either one of these existing module windows here, or we'll create another module and then we'll put our macros into there. The whole idea of having all these different modules is to keep your macros organized, right? But the bottom line is this is all coming from that personal macro workbook, and that is created by doing a recorded macro. And so on your own machines, you'll have to do that as well. Just, even if you don't feel like, needing to have a recorded macro, just do a fake one, just do something. And that will then create this personal macro workbook. And then from that point, then you can then, put the code in the different modules. Okay, so given that, all right, let me close this up, all right, take us back to here. So what I want to do is get this code, right, into that personal macro workbook, right? So what we do here is we'll just kind of select this area here. I'm going to right click it, hit copy. Okay, there we go. Now what I'll do is I'll go back to my Visual Basic. All right. Now I think maybe for this series of videos that we're going to be doing, I'm going to have to do a number of different, or we're going to be doing a lot of different macros. Let's just have a brand new screen to work off of. So what we'll do is we'll just do a right click here on modules, all right? And we'll tell it that we want to insert another module, see? So we'll just click onto that, and that gives us a 4th module. There it is. And then from here, and I guess what maybe what I'll do too is I'll just close up these. We don't need those. All right. So there it is. All right. I'll make it a little bit bigger. All right. And then all we have to do is just do a right click and paste. And there it is. There's the macro. That's all we have to do. Now, the name of the macro is called hide PBS or hide page breaks. Okay, that's what that is. And this is the command. So it's saying take what's on your active sheet, the sheet that you're looking at, and as far as displaying the page breaks, turn it off or make it false. That's all it means. And then we end the subroutine. So this is basically, this macro is technically called a subroutine. So end the sub. That's it. All right. Now what we'll do is we'll close this up. All right. And now we'll go back over to our Kapalua here. Now there it is. All right. There's the the two sets of page breaks there and there. And what we want to do now is we want to hide those. So we're going to run the macro to do that. All right. So what we can do is we can just go over here to macros. All right. And you'll see in here something called, somewhere in here, right over here, the hide PBS. So now this will be a good one eventually, and we'll do this after this. We'll add that to the new tab ribbon that we'd created earlier. So we're going to take this macro here, right? And we're just going to go ahead and run it. Either we can click onto it and hit run, or just double click it either way. But I'll hit run, and voila. You see what happened? It's gone. Those page breaks are gone. Pretty neat. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and add that macro to our macros tab that we created. Well, maybe even put it into a new group here as well. So do you remember how we did that? We go back over into File, all right? Then we go down to Options. And then we've got our Customize ribbon. And here's our macros ribbon. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a new group. So there's a new group. I'll rename this one. Maybe we'll call the group the cool group. All right. Hit OK. So there it is. And now we're going to go and change our listing here to being the macros. And then we're going to go and find that macro. And you'll see that right about here. There's a hide PBS, right? So we'll take that. We'll drag it over to here. And you see how I got that little black line underneath the cool. Let go. There it is. Hit OK. And there we go. Now, probably what I should have also done is change the icon up a little bit and fix the name. So let's go back in there real quick. Go back to Options. To our custom ribbon. All right. Scroll down there. Hit our little plus. That'll display the macro. There it is. Now we'll hit rename, all right? We'll just call this one just hide. Hide PB or something, okay. And then we can go ahead and give it an icon, hit OK, and there we go. That's pretty cool. So now if I go back in, and I'll just do it real quick one here. I'll do maybe a file and do a print. All right, that's what it looks like. And actually, on this one here, it's got the natural page breaks in there, but as you can see on here, there's page 1, there's page 2, right? And then when I get back out of there, I'm just going to hit back out. You'll see there's a page break there, there's a page break there. So all I'll do is I'll just go over here to my macros, right? Click on it, hide PB, and bingo, it's gone. That is pretty cool, huh? All right, so hopefully you like this one. We've got plenty more coming up, but appreciate you watching the video. Take care.